Straight ahead on 12 News, can you tell the difference in these $20 bills? We'll hear from a Plymouth woman who received a counterfeit bill from her bank. Also, taking concerns from Crystal to the Capitol. City officials voiced their opposition to a railroad connection plan. And do you have a lifelong learner at your house?
It's like being a part of a really cool learning club for adults.
A new concept that offers more classes for less money. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. A plan to increase train traffic in Robbinsdale and Crystal now faces opposition at the state legislature.
State Senator Ann Rust has introduced a bill that could potentially block the controversial project. Delane Cleveland attended a committee hearing at the Capitol today. He joins us live from St. Paul with more. Delane?
Yeah, Mike and Alex, the committee hearing is still taking place as we speak. Representatives from Robbinsdale and Crystal say that if the rail project goes through, it would cause significant problems with traffic and emergency response times.
Our ultimate goal is, yes, we want to stop this project. It is going to be detrimental to our communities. It's going to change them in a way that has never been done before, that we've never seen, and I never want to see.
Mayor Adams and representatives from several other Northwest metro cities testified today before the Committee on Transportation and Public Safety. Canadian Pacific and Burlington Northern Santa Fe railroads are in talks to link their tracks in Crystal to improve freight congestion. If that happens, Crystal city officials say the trains could stop traffic at 4 intersections at the same time, which would make it difficult for emergency vehicles to get through. In Robbinsdale, the trains would disrupt traffic and destroy the city's character, according to the mayor. One of the bills Senator Ann Rust introduced at today's committee hearing would prohibit railroads from using eminent domain to take land owned by the county if it endangers public safety. The other two bills would order an environmental impact statement.
We're trying to make it tough for them to continue without an environmental impact statement. And we're just trying to apply some political pressure to slow them down or stop them so that we can find out what the impact really is.
Proposed rail connection will take place this Saturday at the Crystal Community Center from 9 to noon. City officials will be on hand to take questions from any members of the public who are interested. Reporting live at the Capitol, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Delane. A semi-truck accident near St. Cloud has claimed the life of a Maple Grove woman. 44-year-old Holly Hoagland Klein was killed on Interstate 94 Tuesday morning just west of Hasty. The State Patrol says a semi struck several slowing and stopped vehicles on the interstate, which was icy at the time. It led to a 7-vehicle pileup, which included Hoagland Klein's SUV. The interstate was closed in both directions for several hours Tuesday because of that crash.
A Plymouth woman says she will look at her money more closely after receiving some fake money.
I was absolutely shocked. I didn't know what to do.
Jennifer Silvers says she made a stop at a holiday store to pick up some snacks, but when she went to pay, the clerk told her the money was no good.
They have a special pen that you use, and she marked it, and it came up dark brown. I am worried because how it's supposed to work is that you're supposed to be detained and they're supposed to confiscate. That's very scary to just the average person to be detained.
Jennifer says she got the money from a bank in Deep Haven. She was told to bring the money back so it can be rechecked to see if it is fake. That money will then be turned over to the Secret Service.
Brooklyn Park's largest employer plans to do some large-scale job cutting at its downtown Minneapolis headquarters. Target plans to lay off several thousand employees over a 2-year period. The layoffs follow more than 500 Twin Cities cuts announced last month due to Target's exit from Canada. The latest cuts are expected to produce $2 billion in annual savings. Target plans to use some of the savings to bolster mobile apps and digital experiences in the stores. It also plans to retool its grocery aisles, which account for about 1/5 of Target store sales.
Golden Valley has approved a plan for new homes on Sweeney Lake, but it didn't come without some concerns. The Lacey Group is proposing to build 3 luxury custom-designed homes in the northwest portion of Sweeney Lake. Each lot will be more than 1/2 acre in size. Some council members raised concerns about whether there was a big enough buffer to protect surrounding wetlands on the property. The Lacey brothers' proposal includes adding native vegetation and a storm retention pond for water runoff. Councilmember Andy Snope believes it'll be a significant improvement to protect Sweeney Lake compared to the groomed grass that is there now. Well, members of the Golden Valley VFW are trying to come to terms with the future.
The Golden Valley VFW is expected to be torn down this summer to make room for a new apartment complex. As Sonia Goins reports, the VFW members are still looking for a new place to call home.
We've been here since 1969.
Members of the Golden Valley VFW post have served in Vietnam and other foreign wars.
There isn't the concern, other than from a few people, that we're not going to exist as a business here anymore.
Now the place where they gather to socialize is in limbo.
We're not looking forward to leaving, but we're looking forward to celebrating what we've done.
Mike Johnson says the Golden Valley VFW accepted what he says was a significant offer to sell the building to a developer. The developer will tear down the VFW and neighboring buildings to make way for an apartment complex.
When we see the building get knocked down, I think that's when it'll probably have the biggest emotional effect on most of us. So it won't be easy to watch.
VFW officials have looked for other places to relocate, but they say they haven't been able to find a place they can afford.
I kind of wish we'd get a little more support from the city as far as helping us move on.
Meanwhile, VFW officials say they're not giving up hope on finding a new spot.
If anybody out there has got a building somewhere they'd like to donate, let us know.
Now, VFW officials say the decision to sell wasn't easy, and at first they refused offers from developers. But when one developer upped the offer, they couldn't turn it down. The group will hold a fundraiser and closing ceremony at the end of May. Mike?
All right, thank you, Sonia. New federal regulations will make water heaters more efficient, but also more costly. Starting April 15th, all new water heaters will have increased efficiency under regulations by the Department of Energy. The new standards will likely mean a new water heater will cost you around 30% more after April 15th. It's something to keep in mind if you're due for a new water heater. And since the new units will be at least 2 inches taller and wider, they'll also take up some more space.
People with like townhouses or older style houses, they don't have much room in their basement or in their utility room to fit a bigger water heater. If we were to have to change it out after this date, it's going to create bigger issues because we might have to move piping around, furnaces around. A lot of things might have to move around just to fit this unit in the space.
The average water heater lasts between 7 and 10 years. Coming up, unique ways to learn and save money.
12 News Money Savers explains some details in community education. And then a little bit later in sports, the Breck boys hockey team is set for the state tournament.
But first, a chilly start to Thursday when hope springs eternal. A gradual warm-up begins on Friday.
If you like taking community education classes, we've got a Money Savers report for you.
A new program that spans all school districts in the West Metro allows you to take as many classes as you want for one low fee. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains more in today's Money Savers.
Look at the size of these, though. You know, these are just saplings.
When it comes to making twig furniture in the West Metro,
you can't mass produce twig. You've got to go step by step by step.
You'll inevitably see Bob McNeely's name pop up a few times.
It can be anything from a chair like the one I'm sitting on, or a bent willow chair, or a slab bench, or an arbor. And you'll learn that you can build just about anything you'd like once you get the basic principles down.
Here at the Plymouth Library, he's talking about the basics with a group of eager learners.
Once you learn how, you can build it.
This class is part of a new concept called Like Minds.
It's like being a part of a really cool learning club for adults.
It links community education departments between 8 West Metro school districts.
If we can encourage people to learn new things, that's one of the best ways to keep your brain healthy. And many of these activities keep us physically healthy as well.
So for only $40, adults can attend a variety of classes like this one.
Conceivably, someone who's an active learner could take many classes over the course of the year for the cost of a one-night class. So it's a tremendous value.
Participants are also invited to teach classes. Topics are varied. This year, they've ranged from learning about coupons to a book club, snowshoeing, or different art classes.
We do a lot of youth programs, but I wanted to do more for adults. And so during this period of research on healthy aging, I really wanted to make lifelong learning more accessible to people, make it easier, more affordable.
In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
The program is growing and there are plans to continue it next year. Just check with your school district to sign up. Robbinsdale, Osseo, Hopkins, and Wayzata districts all participate. Well, still ahead, 2 local schools get ready to make an international splash in the world of robotics.
But first in sports, highlights from an exciting night of playoff boys basketball. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
Well, we start with playoff basketball, and just because you beat a team earlier in the season, there's no guarantees.
Anything can happen in tournament time, right?
And it certainly did. Tuesday night, great game for Wayzata. Maple Grove needed a late rally to beat Wayzata in a regular season game in boys basketball. They met up with much more at stake in the Section 5 4A semifinals at Osseo Junior High. It's a duel between sharpshooters. Brad Davison nails a 3 from Maple Grove early. And off the inbounds play, Jack Sawada answers with a 3 as both guys light it up. Davison pops in another 3. He scores 27 in the first half and 42 for the night. It's 12-7 Crimson at this point. Johnny Benninga gets into Sawada. He scores 17 in the first half, 21 for the game. Wayzata's up by 3 at halftime. Second half, Benninga heats up. He drives and scores on the tough layup. He'll net 11 in the second half of play. Davison lobs to Reed Nico, who gathers and then dunks it as Maple Grove battles back. Benninga will go all the way for the layup on the play coming up here, and this will make it 50-41 Trojans as they try to pull away. After trailing by a dozen points, Maple Grove storms back. Davison with a long 3, and they cut the lead to 3 moments later. But Wayzata never falters. Gavin Baumgartner goes baseline and sets up Austin Slater for 2 of his 17 points as Wayzata pulls away to win it, 77-62.
Yeah, it was great. We have so much balance on our team that anybody can go off at any time. So the opponents would never really know which guy's going to be the guy taking the shot.
Top-seeded Champlin Park was looking to make a return visit to the Section 5 championship game. Rebels hosting 4th seed Centennial. First half is tight all the way. Jeremy Johnson steps back, drills a 3. That ties it at 29. Matthew Robinson answers with a 3 for the Cougars. That gives them a 34-32 halftime lead. But Champlin Park takes over in the second half. Aaron Klepner strokes the baseline 3-pointer. Marty Hill runs down an offensive rebound and then lets it fly from long range to give the Rebels a 43-36 lead. Watch the drive by J.T. Gibson. He'll go hard to the basket, makes a nice move, and gets 2 more for Champlin Park. And then Gibson shakes his defender and steps back to can the money ball, and the Rebels are up by 10. The Rebels overcome a sluggish first half, and they go on to win big, 81-65. Champlin Park is the final. So that sets up Wayzata and Champlin Park in the Section 5 final. The game is Friday at 7 p.m. at Rogers High School. Can't make it out to the game, you can watch it live here on Channel 12 and 12.tv. Pregame at 6:53 p.m. In Class A, Maranatha Christian Academy is shooting for a 3rd straight section title. The Mustangs hosting Minnesota Transitions in the Section 4A semis. Maranatha in red, Jeremiah Hansen to Demario Armstrong for the layup as the Mustangs get the transition basket. Armstrong gets the loose ball and feed it ahead to Hansen here, who throws it down on his way to a 23-point night. And they lead by 10 at the half. Second half, Armstrong goes by his defender and scores a sweet layup as the Mustangs win it over Minnesota Transition 71-50. That puts MCA into the Section 4A championship game against Minneapolis North, a repeat of last year's final. That game is Friday at 5:45 at McAllister College in St. Paul. In Section 4AA, Breck edged Providence Academy 64-62 in the semifinals. The Mustangs go to the section final and face Annandale with a state tournament berth on the line. That game is Friday at 6 at St. Cloud State. The Breck boys hockey team is in the state tournament after a thrilling win over Delano in the section final. The Mustangs are bidding for another state title after winning gold in 2009 and 2010. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
Last year at this time, the Breck boys hockey team was getting ready to watch the state tournament on TV after losing to Orono in the section final.
You know, that was on our minds. That really stung us last year. And maybe that was, you know, a great thing in retrospect. You know, if it doesn't hurt you, it helps you.
Last year at our banquet, I said we're not letting that happen again when I was named captain, and that's been probably my main goal as a leader, to lead these guys to get to where we're going right now, and that's the X.
The road to state this winter wasn't easy for the Mustangs. A lot of the guys are playing varsity for the first time, and that inexperience showed early in the season. But Breck found its game down the stretch and showed its moxie in the section championship, beating Delano in overtime.
We're mostly sophomores, sophomore-based, and so that's pretty cool that we have all those guys stepping up and getting goals when we need them, and just everyone is stepping up for us.
The Mustangs come to state riding high, feeling good, and probably playing their best hockey of the year. But Coach Les Larson knows nothing compares to the state tournament.
I remember my first time there as a coach, it was like, man, it took me 20 minutes to, hey, is this a hockey rink or is this a big bathtub, you know? It can be intimidating.
And Larson knows his boys will be nervous, but he hopes they can shake that off and just play hockey. If the Mustangs do that, they could bring home another state title. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Breck is the number 4 seed in the Class A tournament. It opens play tonight at 8 against 5 seed St. Cloud Apollo. We'll have highlights from that game as well as Hopkins Eden Prairie section final basketball coming up Thursday starting at 4.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, exciting times in the world of robotics, at least at 2 area high schools.
We'll shed some light on achievements over at Maple Grove and Osseo high schools when we come back.
And finally, time to get excited about robots, and they are all pumped up at Maple Grove and Osseo high schools.
And they're off. This was the scene in Duluth this weekend as the Maple Grove Crimson Robotics team competed against 63 other teams from 3 states. The idea here is to have the robots stack recycling boxes and then place a larger container on the top. Maple Grove won the 3-day competition and is now headed to St. Louis next month for an international competition.
It's definitely more than just the robot. There's a lot more of the collaboration between people, problem solving, real world engineering, that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun, and there's nothing like it. You won't get the same sort of experience and the same opportunities that come from FIRST Robotics anywhere.
At Osseo High School, a team called the Circuit Breakers took first place in a separate competition, and they'll be heading to compete at a world championship in Kentucky in April. So a lot of traveling and some fundraising probably.
Well done. Yeah, that's right.
We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.